A recent IMF study examining 65 countries over 6 decades reveals a striking trend. Political parties across the spectrum are increasingly advocating for higher government spending, and this shift challenges traditional notions of conservative fiscal policy. It also highlights a growing consensus on expansionary approaches. Take a look at this next report to understand this better.
In an IMF analysis of 65 advanced and emerging market countries spanning 6 decades, a significant trend has emerged. Political parties across the spectrum are increasingly advocating for higher government spending. From socialists to nationalists, support for fiscal expansion has steadily increased since the 1960s, while calls for fiscal restraint have diminished, particularly over the past 3 decades. Data from the Manifesto project, which includes over 4,500 political platforms from 720 national elections between 1960 and 2022, highlights this shift. This analysis reveals that political discourse is evolving, with many parties now prioritizing expansionary fiscal policies over traditional conservative stances. The data also shows that fiscal discourse is closely tied to the economic conditions of each country. During times of economic adversity, such as after public debt surges or implementation of fiscal rules, parties exhibit more conservative rhetoric. However, the shift towards pro-spending discourse remains resilient. This suggests that fiscal pressures do not entirely deter support for increased public expenditure. Notably, elections held when the budget deficit is higher often reflect a reduction in expansionary rhetoric, highlighting a responsive political landscape that adapts to economic realities while still favoring higher spending in the long term. Looking ahead, the implications of this trend are significant. As public expectations for increased government spending rise, especially concerning infrastructure, health and climate change, the pressure on fiscal sustainability intensifies. While many voters express a desire for enhanced services, the question of funding these initiatives remains unresolved. The analysis indicates that greater political support for spending could lead to higher fiscal deficits and elevated debt levels globally. As scholars and policymakers prepare for the upcoming IMF Fiscal Monitor, the focus will be on finding viable strategies to maintain fiscal discipline amid these growing demands for public investment. Business Bureau, WION World is One.